You're now tuning into the Who and How Club with your host, Eris Dejan.
Good morning. Good morning. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy, Eris Dejan, checking in on a Friday. It is October 25th, Friday morning, and I'm touching base with everybody checking in. You are the Who and How Club. I am the Who and How Club. We are the Who and How Club. We are the Who's and How's of the world, and you are checking into a new episode. This is episode 14. And of course, I want to send a special shout out to everybody tuning in, listening in, supporting the movement. Once again, I want to paint a little picture of pretty much the setup of, what it looks like for me right now. I'm sitting at the studio desk. The curtains are sort of drawn. I'm pretty much sitting in the dark. There's no light shining in. I'm kind of like in my own zone right now. I'm in the zone. I thought I'd wake up hella early just to, touch base with the people this week. And, I think this is a great way to wake up. Something good to wake up to just, talk to the people and express myself and have a little therapy session with the people. The episode is a couple days late because I was waiting on Adam. If you listened to the last episode last week, I had mentioned that I was going to have Adam, one of my closest friends. He's a trainer of mine, or was a trainer of mine, a fitness trainer, and we became pretty close. And he just released his book. But I don't want to give all the details about the book or anything, not even the title yet, because I want you guys to hear it, guys and girls, to hear it from the dragon's mouth for when he comes on the show. But the goal was to have him on the show this week. But the boy is running into a couple of issues revolving around the book. I wouldn't say it's a bad issue, though. I think that, with success, you're going to get people that try to push back on that, and the problem that he's running into right now, I think, is a good problem. So him and I spoke yesterday. We were supposed to meet up Wednesday, and I was supposed to have him on the show. That didn't work out because it was just a crazy busy day, and a lot of back and forth with just trying to get things done and get things organized for the day. So Wednesday didn't happen. And then we rescheduled for the day after, which was yesterday. And then he broke the news to me about what he's going through right now. So he has some stuff to handle first. Once he's done with that, he's going to come on the show, and then we're going to talk all about the book. You guys are going to get to know Adam. There's some weird things between Adam and I. Like, for an example, his first name, Adam. My initials for my entire name spelled out Adam. He's a Gemini. Now, I'm a Taurus. And Taurians and Geminis, we're not supposed to be compatible, but I think when it comes to friendship, our signs can definitely work out. And I think between him and I, and the conversations that we've had for years now, we're pretty like-minded when it comes to our vision on life and love and relationships. And him and I have pretty healthy debates on stuff like that and topics like that. So, to see him, just pursue, he told me he was writing a book. Like, I met him years and years ago, and when he first told me he was writing a book, like, you hear someone tell you that, and it's like, I'm sure there are moments where, like, I've told people things that I'm doing, let's just say, people close to me. I don't tell everybody what I'm doing. I don't tell people my plans. If you listen to a few episodes prior to this one, I mentioned something about keeping things close to the chest, right? But there are going to be those select few people or individuals or energies, let's say, that you trust in your life, that you're not afraid to share information with, because they wish you well. That you telling them something will hopefully inspire them to create as well. But I'm sure there are times where I've told somebody something and like, yeah, I'm working on this. And they're like, okay. Yeah, okay. You're just talking maybe. Maybe they're wondering to themselves, like, how's he going to do that? But then I come back like a few months later and I've done that thing that I said. And then they'll come back and say, yo, just a few months ago, you were just talking about this. And now look at this. Like, you've created it. You brought your idea to life. So that's the same deal between me and Adam. Not to say I was doubting him, but it was just really cool to hear somebody say, like, I think I have one other friend, that, he's a poet and he's released a few poetry books and, story books and stuff like that. But Adam has an actual, novel, a fictional novel, and it has some themes in there that him and I have discussed in the past. But when he first told me that he was writing a book, I'm like, okay. And every time we would meet, every time we would train together, every time we would meet up, I've gone out for his birthday, he's gone out for mine. We just talk about the book. But the fact that the book has been created and Adam finally brought it to life, and it took a long time. It's not as easy as people think. These things that we create, us creatives, when we have an idea and when we're passionate and inspired by something, it doesn't just happen at the snap of a finger. There's a lot of energy and time that goes into these pieces of work. Even this podcast, this is the third time I'm doing this, reinventing my idea, and my idea is finally where I want it to be, and I'm happy and satisfied with that, and I'm just pushing and grinding. I can only imagine how many times Adam had to go over his book and, until it was ready and, getting it done and getting it published and stuff, and, how many emails he's had to send and submit to and all of that. So I'm proud of the guy. I'm really proud of him. So I want to send a special shout out to Adam. I know you couldn't make it this week, but we're going to have you on the next episode. Hopefully we'll figure everything out. If not, I got a bunch of other people lined up and ready to go. So I might have to, restructure the next few weeks. But yeah, I want to give you, the listeners, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, aliens and humans, some more, I want to bring some more individuals on the show to inspire you to, just inspire you with their stories. Shout out to all the previous people I've had on the show. Lisa. I loved our conversation about relationships and love and stuff like that. Shout out to you for being brave and for coming on the show. You were our first ever over the phone conversation. So shout out to Lisa. All of you should go listen to that episode. Shout out to Sage, who was my first guest. He was sort of like the guinea pig. So shout out to you, Sage. Keep grinding, my fellow Taurus. Shout out to Chris. Shout out to Alfonso. Shout out to Timotheus. You guys are great. And I appreciate you. And the conversation is going to continue. You know what I'm saying? Like they say, the marathon continues for Nip. The conversation continues for Eris and for the who's and hows of this world and the who's and hows that I continue to encounter and the folks that inspire me. So with that said, don't forget to follow the socials at Who How Club on all social media. Look up Who How Club or the Who and How Club on all of your podcast streaming sites or apps, whatever, you'll find us. The website is whohowclub.com, and you can always touch base with me at only one Aris, ONLY, the number 1, ARYS, and my website, arisdejan.com. Speaking of my website, I got a new track coming out that I want to release and premiere on the show. I think I got one, and I'm happy. I'm happy to be back in the music and just creating and expressing myself. And my pencil is just, it's still alive. You know what I mean? I was having a conversation with a friend recently and just explaining how, like, no matter what you take a break from, let's say for an example that this podcast, I take a break from it for whatever reason. I go on a little hiatus to focus on something else. Let's say the next thing that I'm focusing on is, visual art, painting, creating a comic book or even writing my own, creating my own novel or whatever like that. Even though I've taken a break from the podcast to focus on something else, the energy from the podcast is not there anymore. Like, I was born with these gifts. That's how I look at it. My mom, she was a model. My uncle, breakdancer. art is in my family. The artistic energy and bones, they've transferred to me from birth. You know, I would dance in front of the television to music videos of like Michael Jackson and memorizing their choreography, to Usher, Aaliyah, and all of that stuff. Like, just expressing myself or being able to, or understanding or finding out that I can express myself through these different, you know, art forms. It's been in me. It's in my blood. So if I take a break, this is art. This isn't just a business. This isn't just something I'm doing. This is art. I'm creating. I'm bringing my ideas to life. Hoping to inspire other people to do the same, you know, and keep pushing. So just because I take a break from one thing and focus on something else doesn't mean the energy from the other thing is gone. It's still a piece of me, but we're going to get back to it. Sometimes juggling 100 things all at once, it's just not possible, especially when you still have a full-time job and you're in your career outside of art, and you're trying to make your art your career and, you know, trying to find a balance. It's very difficult to balance 100 things at once. And believe me, I already do 100 things, and I want to do 100 more. I love to be busy. I love to create. Ideas are flowing. I have people that I talk to on a daily basis, just bouncing ideas off of one another on ideas for shows and on ideas for comic books and stuff like that. And we're going to get those done. There's never been a thought in my mind where, like, you know what, I'm not going to get this done. Or if I were to take a break from something and focus on something else, I've never thought like, oh, I'm never going to get back to the other thing or get to complete that task. It's never that. We always finish what we start. And I took a break from music to launch the podcast, relaunch the podcast, mind you, for the third time. That's to show you we never quit. But now that I got things going with the podcast, and there's sort of like a structure and a routine already set in place, now I know what managing my time within this looks like. Now I could get back to music, because I'm going through things in my life that I just can't express through the podcast. I need to express it musically over a beat. I need to rhyme about it. I need to cry about it. I need to shut off all the lights in my 1-bedroom apartment and zone out and just spit. There's a different aggression and anger and love and passion that comes out when I'm expressing myself musically versus just talking to you all and you listening. So I'm actually really talking to myself as well. Like I said, this is therapy. Music is another form of therapy for me. Now, this is just me sharing pieces of myself with you. I can't just only have guests on here and, you know, share their stories and pieces of themselves. I want you guys to get to know me too. I pray that while listening to this, I'm inspiring you to pursue something that you've always wanted to pursue. It doesn't matter what it is. I don't even want to know what it is. Don't tell anybody. But if there's something in your mind right now where you said, yo, you're saying to yourself, you know what, this is something I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to create a beauty line. You know, I always wanted to tell my story. I wanted to write poetry. I want to express myself in a diary. You know, if there's something so small, something so trivial, like I want to go get some rims on my car. Whatever that may be, I don't know. If there's just something that you want to do in your mind, you want to get things done, there's a task that you've had written on the fridge for however long, and you're looking at that task every day and you're like, yeah, I'm going to get to it, and still haven't, and it's like 3 to 4 weeks later, look at that task. Embrace that thought that you have, that idea, and figure out how you're going to accomplish that thing. Just figure it out. Make some time for it. I think the first thing you need to do is figure out where it can fit in your day-to-day routine or your weekly routine, monthly routine, whatever. Where can you find some time to allocate towards that idea? You know, that inner passion that you've been hiding for so long because maybe you're stuck in this 9-to-5 routine, and, you know, maybe you're afraid to be different from how people look at you. Maybe you're okay with how people look at you. Maybe people look at you as just a normal person. You know, you just 9-to-5, Monday to Friday, then you party on the weekends and do it all over again the following day. But inside of you, you want to pursue something so artistic that's out of the norm of your career, your 9-to-5 career, let's say. your job, quote unquote, right? Find some time for that. Think about the hours that you have in the day, the hours that you spend your time on, your experiences on, your life on. Think about it. I'm certain that you could find an hour or two out of your day, your week, to direct towards that idea, that passion, that thing that you have, that task that you want to accomplish and pursue, and do it. Take my word for it. Don't wait. Now, it's never too late, mind you. It's never too late, but you got to start. And I was always taught growing up by, one of my older brothers, let's say. He always told me that the hardest part is starting. But once you start and you got things going, you just run with it. You run. You grab it, you run. You grab that baton when it's passed to you and you run. You don't look back. But you got to put your hand out and reach for that baton when it's being passed. Sometimes you could be too distracted. You got to tie your shoe, get it ready. You got to stretch a little bit, but you see that baton coming. Now it's your job to put your hand out and accept that toss, that passover. And you're going to have to run with it. So you got to get ready. You got to start. So figure out how you can start. That's step 1. Step 2, when you start, you don't stop. Taking a break and stopping are two different things. But you don't even have to think about that because your mission right now is to start and to not stop. Take my word for it. Anyway, that's my little lecture for today. I didn't plan on, talking like this to you all today. This is just what I'm feeling. I'm speaking from the heart. Like I told you, I'm in the zone. And it's Friday. So let's celebrate. I was going to talk about an experience I had with one of the companies and stuff like that I told you guys on the last episode that I've been trying to reach out to. I want to be a brand ambassador. I want some sponsorship for the show. And, I feel like they kind of did me raw. But you know what? Fuck them. I'm not even going to focus on them. I'm not even going to. There's a lot of out here that are just unprofessional. Organizations, whatever. Companies, whatever. They don't do things the right way. And I'm not going to blame them or judge them for it. I'm flawed too. We're all flawed. We're not perfect. So I'm not going to give them any energy. What I'm going to do, like I said on the last episode, by episode 20, I want to start doing reads on the show for, products and stuff like that are supporting the show and sort of connect to the show in some sort of way, and then, get some sponsorship out of that. I want to be one of those shows. I want to promote products. I want to promote things that I use and promote other artists, things, creations and stuff like that. So that's coming soon, and I know it. So I'm not going to focus on the things that don't happen. I'm going to focus on the things that I want to happen and who I want to connect with. And I'm going to reach out and break barriers and break down walls. You know what I'm saying? So it don't even matter. Now, Adam, I hope you're listening to this. Let's get your shit in order. I'm sending you some positive energy. I hope everything works out with the book. And we'll get you on the show as soon as possible. I want everybody out there listening in to have yourselves a beautiful weekend, a beautiful Friday. Be safe. Walk with your head high. Walk with that energy. Be positive. Connect with some people. Don't just be all disconnected in your phone or in your phones. Talk to some people. Connect. Work as a team. Holla at your friends. Check in on some people. Maybe some people that you've been meaning to check in on, but you haven't had a chance to. Check in on them. Check in on me. Ask me how I'm doing. And we'll just continue to build a movement, all right? Am I missing anything? Nah, we're good. I'm going to see you guys or talk to you guys and girls episode 15, all right? So, once again, it's Eris Dejan, your host, your leader. This has been the Who and How Club. You are the Who and How Club. I am the Who and How Club, and we are the Who's and How's of the world. It's Friday. Go celebrate it. And I'll check in with you next week, all right? 1.